Now, here's where I really want to get into. This is the main story for me from the Elizabeth Warren DNA situation. The question for me is not what is her exact Native American ancestry. It's partially about Trump lying, claiming initially that he would donate $1 million if she has a DNA test that shows she's Native American. Then he said he never said it. Now he says he wants to test her DNA himself. For me, the most interesting sort of after effect of the DNA story is that the Russian Trollbots have been activated hugely. There is a really well put together Reddit post that points out that the hashtag Pocahontas, Trump's nickname for Elizabeth Warren, as well as a whole bunch of other terms, as you can see on screen, like Native American, DNA, and other terms, were trending on Hamilton 68, which is a website that tracks Kremlin propaganda, as well as on a website called Bot Sentinel, which also tracks troll bots and fake news accounts. Russian trolls are specifically posting and reposting and linking to a fake news article from True Pundit, which straight up claims that Elizabeth Warren faked her Native American ancestry. If you look at the top posts on a notoriously Russian troll-riddled subreddit called _Donald, as of this morning, 8 of the 11 top posts from the prior 24 hours were related to Elizabeth Warren. And if you classify or sort of categorize the comments and the positions that are being espoused, the ones that are getting the most play on the internet are, number one, the average American has more Native American DNA than Elizabeth Warren. Number two, Harvard had her listed as a person of color. And number three, anything less than 1% doesn't mean anything. So the question is, why? Why would Russian trolls and bots focus on the Elizabeth Warren DNA story, which is a seemingly sort of transient and niche story that's not going to have any major coverage even a week from now or a few days from now? And the answer appears to be that the answer appears to you, I would say, when you ask yourself, what is the objective of the Kremlin in all of this, right? Why is the Kremlin meddling in our election, using Trump to their advantage? The whole point is to destabilize the U.S. and to create or grow cracks in the social fabric, to distract, to create strife, particularly among racial lines. The Elizabeth Warren DNA test results themselves aren't the important thing for the Kremlin narrative. But filling the internet with posts and fake news articles about apparent obsession with the story distracts from stories like Russian collusion, Trump's taxes, Trump blowing up the trade deficit despite claiming his terrorists would fix it. And the really important part is that it draws out the racists. Remember that 2 stories that activated the Russian troll bots were the Baltimore police unrest and the Ferguson, Missouri protest. Both were highly racialized stories, and this is straight out of the Russian geopolitical playbook. The book, Foundations of Geopolitics by Alexander Dugin, specifically advises that in the United States, what Russia should do is use its special services to fuel instability and separatism, and specifically to promote, quote, Afro-American racists. Russia should, according to the playbook from 1997, introduce geopolitical disorder into internal American activity, encourage ethnic separatism and racial conflict. That's why the Russians love the DNA story. Mentioning DNA at all brings out the racists. It's got an overlap as well with the race and IQ crowd. And in general, any story that helps split people among racial or ethnic lines or gets people thinking that way is good for Russia, and it fuels the exact kind of instability that Russia wants. And additionally, the Russians may already be anticipating that Warren could be a strong presidential candidate in 2020. So why not have the double benefit of starting to litter the internet with this type of stuff about her? That is the most interesting element for me about the Elizabeth Warren DNA story, which is that it has become a favorite story instantly of the Russian trolls and the Russian bots. Send me your thoughts. Make sure that you are following the show on Instagram at David Pakman Show. Follow me on Instagram at david.pakman. Quick break, back after this. Today's program is sponsored in part by Blinkist.com/Pakman. If you've not already heard about Blinkist, it's amazing. It's an app for your phone, tablet, or web browser. And what they do is they take nonfiction books, popular nonfiction, critically acclaimed nonfiction. they condense the book into a 15-minute audiobook. You get all the most important information and insights from each book, but you can soak up the entire essence of the book in one sitting. I've listened to a ton of books on Blinkist. One recent one is Robert Reich's new book, The Common Good. Also Bunk by Kevin Young, useful in preparing me for the pseudoscience miniseries that we're producing. And if you are a David Pakman Show viewer or listener, you can get a 7-day free trial by going to Blinkist.com/Pakman. If you're watching on YouTube, use the link in the video description. After the free trial, if you like it, you can get the full access to thousands of condensed audiobooks for about $5 a month. That's BLINKIST.com/PAKMAN.